So what's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into my new Helaween collection from Angie. So I got the whole collection. I literally just bought it all. I was like, for once we just gonna go big and just buy it all. So we got the cute little card here from Angie. So it says, "Happy Halloween, beautiful. I am so proud and excited for you to try out round 2 of my collaboration with Oden. We worked so hard on these pieces to bring you the most amazing collection for Halloween. Thank you for your support. I hope you'll love your goodies." So got the 2 little bricks or whatever. After this video, Adriangameover said he's gonna take my bat, so I won't have the bat anymore. I'll just have the ghost. What? But you know.
No, I said I don't want it anymore because I looked at it.
I don't know what's going on with the tail of the ghost here, but okay. Yes, I wasn't necessarily excited about those, although the back does look okay. It's just, I don't know what I'm supposed to use them for, because it's like, I'm not going to put them on my keychain. I guess I can put them on my luggage so I can identify when I go on vacation or something. It really doesn't serve any need for me. But I mean, I thought it was nice for a little touch for them to add. Of course, it comes with the scarf with Angie. This is the, I believe this is the trick or treat side, and this is the, what do you call it, little ghost side. I know, Teresa's dad made a good point about just using these to wrap around your purse, like, you know, the Hermes scarf. So I can understand that. I'll probably use that for those. As y'all can see, I don't have any lip products on because, like I said, I bought the whole collection. So I have all 5 of the lip products. I'm going to swatch them all out now, and then we'll get into the palette comparisons because I want to get this part out the way. I don't want to forget. So I have Shine Spectral. I'm assuming that's a spectral lip gloss. I don't know. I don't know the different lip finishes Inside has, so I'm just kind of, you know, winging it, girl. I don't know. So it comes in this nice ombre-ish packaging. I'm hoping this is a gloss. No, I think this is a, yeah, I think this is supposed to be a lip gloss. It's just a more pigmented color lip gloss. So this is what the lip product looks like. I like that shade. It's a nice tone. I'm gonna swatch all of them at first, and then we'll figure out which one I'm gonna put on. Then we got the matte shadow, the matte lipstick in the shade Shadow Creature. So I'm assuming this is one of the lipsticks or lip stains, because I heard these are lip stains and not lipsticks. I don't know. I'm not really big on lip stains, but I figured since I was going to get all the glosses just about anyway, it'd be cheaper to just get the whole set and I could swatch it for you, and then my mom could just take them. So here is the Shadow Creature shade. I feel like it might go nice with the lip gloss I just showed. We'll see how that goes. Then I have the other matte in Swamp Fog. I just want to get both the mattes out the way because they're the ones I was least excited about. Because like I said, I don't like lip stains, so it's just kind of like, oh, okay. It's a nice shade though. The Swamp Fog is a nicer shade to me than the Swamp Creature. So now, I don't know what these names have to do with like Halloween though. That's something that confuses me. But I know Angie said she doesn't really know too much about Halloween, so maybe that's why they're named what they're named. I don't know. So I actually should keep Swamp Frog out because like that's probably the one I'll put on, and then just put like a fun gloss on top of it. So I'll leave that one out, and I'll put the gloss Spectral on top of it for now, and then I might switch them out later on as far as lip glosses go to decide what we should do with each eyelid. So next, I am pulling out the gloss or the glow in Radioactive. Swatch that one out. So I don't know if y'all will be able to see the sparkles, but yeah, I feel like when I turn my hand, do you see like the blue sparkle right there? I hope so. It has blue and purple sparkles in it, so. I'll try to get some pictures of these in the daylight tomorrow so you can see like the real sparkle of it, because I want you to see the sparkle because it looks so pretty when you look at it. And then lastly we have Quicksand. So I'm thinking I had to put Quicksand on top of the other lipstick that I was talking about. The first one, because I feel like that one might work better with it, but let's see. Because I don't remember which lip gloss color so match well with what. Oh no, so Quicksand, I feel like will go better on top of the lipstick I was talking about, which is the Swamp one. So we're going to put Quicksand and Swamp Frog together. So let me put this other lip, the Spectral lip gloss back. So that way I remember that it goes with the other one for you. This is the last lip gloss right here, Quicksand. So Quicksand I'm going to put with this one for right now, just so we can have something on the lips, because I hate sitting here looking at my lips with nothing on and we can get the lip products out the way, and then we can get into the palettes, Little Ghost and Trick or Treat. And y'all know me, so I got a box literally just full of stuff to compare it to this. So I'm gonna try to make sure I remember to put chapters in here, because honey, y'all know it's gonna be a lot, because I'll be having a million comparisons to stuff. Random side note, I am doing a battle of the foundations on my face, so comment down below and say which side of the face you like better. Do you like this side better, or do you like this side better? And P.S. I'm trying out the YSL concealers today as well, so there you go. So I'm gonna start off with this lipstick in Quicksand. Sorry, no, I'm gonna start off with the lipstick in Swamp Frog, and then we're gonna put Quicksand on top of it. So let's put Swamp Creature on, and then we'll put, no, not Swamp Creature, Swamp Frog. It's moussing a little thick when you take it out of the container, so that's the consistency it's giving me, but it's a nice shape. So I'm liking it better on the lips than I like when I saw in the initial swatch, so that's good. Now let's put on this lip gloss in Quicksand on top of it, because Angie said they were meant to go together nice ombre effect, so let's see how that works out. Okay, it's a nice comfortable gloss with a nice amount of sheen. I'm still not necessarily crazy about the lip formula as far as the stain goes, just because of the consistency when you first put it on, but at least it feels comfortable when you put it on. It's just the thickness when I first put it on the product itself is what I'm not necessarily crazy about, but you know, it's cute or whatever. I forgot that their palettes come in plastic, so I would have pulled them out ahead of time to like save some time, but girl, we're gonna have to open it now while I'm here and you here and you all here. So I'm gonna show you both the palettes on their own, and then I'm gonna crap, y'all. I got lipstick on my pants. I don't know how, but there's now lipstick on my pants. Or maybe that's concealer, I honestly don't know. Just messed up, this is my first time like wearing these pants. So just like great. Stain on my pants, hopefully it come off. I have to give them those ties to go in or something, I don't know. So I'm gonna start off with the Trick or Treat, and I'm in with my favorite one, and then I'll probably do the Little Ghost palette last, because you need spoiler alert, we know that's my favorite one. Backing on up now, so I have space to show both the palettes, because some of them are bigger than the other ones, and you know I'm gonna need that space, girl. Okay, so here is the Trick or Treat palette. Now I don't know about anybody else, when I initially saw the Trick or Treat palette, I was like, so y'all just let Angie put a fun twist on the Christmas palette since you know people really wanted it and you didn't bring it back. Because when I see this, that's what it makes me think of. Like, this is the Christmas palette and people just didn't get a chance to get it. So, you know, you was like, we'll bring it back under Angie's name, and then people go crazy and buy it because they wanted it the first time, and we only restocked it once, and then it didn't come back after that. So that's very much what it's giving me. I don't know how y'all feel, but that's what it's giving me. And me being me, I was gonna say it, so here we are. Okay, so the next one I have to show is the Little Ghost. Let me get the little plastic off here before I, oh, it already flopped up for me. Thank you. You knew what time it was, girl. You know I wanted you to get out the way. So here's Little Ghost. So show the packaging, and this is what she looks like on the inside, honey. Yes. Yes to the inside. This one is the one that spoke to me immediately when I saw it. I was like, yes, Angie, okay. Now this is giving me colorful, fun vibes. Now I don't know if this necessarily gives me Halloween vibes, but you know, it gives me fun, colorful vibes. If anything, I feel like the Trick or Treat one gives you more like just fall vibes, not necessarily Halloween. But I mean, I guess you can think about like the candied apples when it comes to the red and the green in there, and then a lot of tones that people normally use for fall, which is why she came out with those. So we're gonna start off with the Trick or Treat one. So let me grab all the palettes I got for it, because honey, y'all know me, it's about 533, 75, 22. Hike. I have quite a few, just because it made me think of a lot of palettes in my collection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the Oden ones that remind me of it, and then I'm going to reach from there to all the other palettes. And as you can see, I'm steady bending down to grab more palettes. So it's a few, girl, it's a few. I hope you brought a snack. Because y'all know this part alone I could have just filmed on its own and put up tonight, and then had like the other part go up tomorrow with 2 eye looks, which I was low-key thinking about doing, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to go through all of that. So I'm gonna start off with the one I said it looks similar to, which is the Merry Christmas palette. So it's Merry Christmas here. For the people who are curious about this, this was mainly why I wanted to do it. Then I gotta go outside in the morning, film my reels on this, and put it on my IG and here. But yeah, this is what it looks like side by side. If you want to pause for a second and make sure you see the similarities, or if you don't think the similarities, but I wanted people to especially see these side by side, because I know a lot of people still say they bummed about not getting the Christmas one. So I'm holding it up long enough for you to see it against the Christmas one. If you want to pause, whatever you do, girl, there you go. But I definitely plan on pairing it with this one, because I feel like they're similar in tone, to the point where, you know, like if you had this one, you didn't necessarily need Trick or Treat. That's just my personal opinion. But at the same time, I do like Angie. I do think she makes great content, and I wanted to show my support, so I just went ahead and got it, because I don't feel like I necessarily needed it because it looks like the Merry Christmas, or similar enough to Merry Christmas in my personal opinion. But here we are. Then I'm going to show it against the original Hella palette, of course, because since Angie loves greens, I feel like some of the green, it has green in here and has green in this, so I just show them side by side. But this is what they look like side by side. And I feel like Angie's palette would pair nicely with the Trick or Treat palette. The original Hella would go with the Trick or Treat palette nicely, because you can use some of the pinks with the reds in here, and those deeper burgundy tones in this palette with the pinks with the deeper burgundy tones in here. And then you could just have like a monstrous green palette if you pick the greens from here and the greens from here. So that was my thought process in this one. Plus, like I said, I just wanted people who have the palette to see it, so I'm going to put it to the side to show with the other palette, even though I don't feel like they're going to be the same either. So on to the next thing, which is my hummingbird. Y'all know Tina's going to be up in here, okay? Now I know they're not similar, but I just want to show them side by side, because I feel like Tina's palette could be a good companion palette to this one for someone who wants a little bit more variety of the rainbow than this one is offering, but you want to support Angie. You knew you'd get more use out of her neutral one, and then you just pair Tina's palette with it if you already have it. So that was the purpose of showing these side by side. I'm going to show this with Little Ghost as well, because I feel like it'd be a good companion palette to both of her palettes. I just started off showing it with, you know, the Trick or Treat, because that was the one that came out first. But I plan on pairing these together. Like, I love when Oden's Eye comes out with a new collaboration, because it gives me an excuse to pull out Tina's palette. Like, well, since I was using this Oden's Eye palette, I can use this Oden's Eye palette too. And then that way, when I do a look, y'all can still get one of the palettes that I'm doing it with. Because I be wanting to use Angie's palette a lot, but I'm like, when other people can't get it, they be feeling some type of way, and I ain't trying to hear. But I gave y'all an alternative to Tina's palette in a video a while ago, just in case. So next, I have the Poison Apple or Serenity palette from Alien Cosmetics. I said this was a good alternative to the Christmas palette, so of course I was going to have to show it this palette, because again, I feel like they have similar tones. So if you didn't want to get Angie's palette, or if you feel like you had similar things in your collection to Angie's palette, I wanted to show you that there are some alternatives still. Like, I feel that this palette is similar to this one and the Christmas, and the Merry Christmas palette. So that's what both of them look like. Put this to the side. And now I can put my 5 brands that dupe themselves video, since, you know, Angie's palette and that palette are really similar in my personal opinion. So next, I have the Sis Seduction palette from Mother. I know, right? Hilarious, because Angie has feelings about Mother. But anyway, here's what they look like side by side. I feel like some of the shimmers in here would go nice with some of the mattes in here, since this is a all shimmer palette. I think they would pair nicely together. Plus me showing it, which I figure you all realize that's a running theme by now. Now some of them I just decided I was gonna put with certain things, because I felt like they would look cool. So this palette is the Druid from Fantasy Cosmetica. Again, I feel like this could go nicely with this palette if you want a little bit more depth in the green department, because I feel like there's not a lot of depth when it comes to green in here. There's a lot of depth when it comes to red. So I feel like if you want to pull some depth for green, you could reach in here. And if you wanted some more top-tier sparkly shades for the inner corner to switch out some of the shades in here, when you want to switch it up, then I feel like Druid would go nicely with this palette. Because I feel like Druid just adds some of the green depth, since I feel like the greens in here are brighter and there's not that much depth when it comes to green. Then I have my Pause palette from Nars Cosmetics. Again, I feel like this would be good if you want to pull in some blues. So if you want to do like a blue-green moment, or if you want to have a more orangey, yellowish-red moment, then I feel like this would be good for you. Plus, I feel like it has this nice, darker, deeper brown tone shade if you don't want to always have to use this deeper red. So I'm just trying to show palettes that if you already have them and you'd like to pair with something else to get a little bit more variety in the look, that's where we are with looks right now. I showed you the main ones I felt like looked really similar to the palettes. Now we're just going into the stuff that I plan on pairing it with in my collection throughout the rest of the year, in between using all the other stuff I have to use, which is going to be hard, but you know, I'm going to try. Next we have Betty Bean and Shroud's Helaween palette, which I think is cute because they both have their own little like Halloween situation. So what they look like side by side. I definitely feel like Betty Jean's is more fun than the Trick or Treat one. So I feel like it'll bring some more fun to the palette with her unique and interesting tones. This purple would be really nice to pair with those greens. I love her shade Black Flame. I feel like it would go really nice with the burgundies in Angie's palette. So I feel like both of these will pair quite nicely, and I cannot wait to use them together. Like I'm telling y'all, that's going to be one of the ones I use for the first week when I use this palette. Because I'm going to do 1 week of just the Trick or Treat palette. At least that's my plan. And then the next week, I'll just do with the little Ghost palette. Or I might swap them in depending on how I feel. Next, I have the Ambiance palette from Beaute. So, here's what they look like side by side. I'm feeling like I feel like this is a good alternative to this palette, as well as good to pair with this palette. Because if you're not necessarily a fan of bright greens, you get darker, deeper greens in here. The only thing that's missing in this palette versus this palette, honestly, to me, is red, because they opted for more orange. But it's supposed to be more fall palette, so since these are both trying to gear toward fall, I feel like it would be a good variety to have both of these going on there. So I'm here for it. I'm liking both of them, and that's what we're working with. And I'm definitely going to pair that with that as well. Because, again, I think those purples and these reds would go great together with those burgundies. Next, like I was saying, we got the Hudson Valley palette here from Nomad. This is what she looks like alongside the Halloween Trick or Treat palette. So as you can see, this is a more muted version of this palette, but it still has like those fun bright reds and those deeper reds and some like neutrally toned. So again, this could be a good alternative for you. So I probably should put this closer to the front, but this is what both of them look like side by side, because I figured someone might be curious about those. So I'm trying to put all the ones that I feel like are similar to the side for the end. Next, I have the, what is this? At Forest Sight from RB Crispy and ColourPop. Again, I feel like this could be a nice muted grungy version from some of those deeper, darker tones that aren't in the Trick or Treat palette. So this would be a good one to pair with it. And again, this is a more muted version of this palette, so I thought it'd be interesting to show. I got a couple of affordable ones as well, just in case anybody want to see. Next, I have, of course, the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette. What they look like side by side. Without the fun bright red and green, I feel like these could be somewhat similar as well. If you're not into necessarily having bright colors, but you like the more neutral, fall-y looks in this color story, this might be a good one for you. This one goes in and out of stock though, so just keep that in mind. You might not be able to get it right away. Goodness. Okay, y'all, only got a couple left, and then we still gotta get into the other one. So I'm thinking about just making this a video on all the comparisons and letting you see some of the lip products, and then I'll do other lip products in a separate eye video because this is gonna be longer. Next, I have the Fairy Frolic palette. Now this one I feel like would be a little bit of a wild card to put with this one, but I thought it could still be a little bit of fun because you have this deeper, darker brown for people who don't necessarily want to use this like deepish, reddish burgundy shade. You got a couple of nice brighter shades, but you still get some deeper greens to go with the greens in here, because again, since it only has light greens, for the people who want to have a darker outer V and don't want to have to always use burgundy, I feel like pairing palettes that have deeper, greener tones with this one would be a nice alternative for you. Plus, I feel like the purples in here and the pinks will go nice with the burgundies in here to make deeper, vampier looks that are more appropriate for fall. So, pull that one. Then I have my Alien Cosmetics or Unearthly Cosmetics. So it's like Holiday Spirit. If you all remember, a couple of my shades in a break-in, don't know how, but this is what she looks like now. Again, I feel like this could be good to go with this. Again, you have this deeper green to go with that lighter green. You have some interesting green tones in here and some other tones that pair nicely. Y'all, I've been talking so long till child the battery is flashing. Like, shut up, girl. So this is the last. I only have 2 palettes left. So I have the Jungle Roar palette from Beauty. I know Andrea Montano speaks highly of this brand, so this I feel like could be a good alternative for this as well, for someone who doesn't necessarily spend the money that goes with it. It has some alternatives to it. I feel like to me this is like a mixture of this Trick or Treat palette mixed with a little bit of Metropolis from Natasha. So here's what both of those look like side by side. That may be a good alternative. Put that one to the side. And the last one I have is the Antidote palette from the Carnival collection with Stacey Marie and Beauty Bay. Again, this is a huge one. Now, it doesn't have the bright colors when it comes to the green, but it has the bright colors when it comes to like the reds, and just a lot more red than it does green in my personal opinion. So if you like having a good variety of shades, I definitely feel like you'll like this one more, but don't expect to have a lot of those special and colorful, fun, shifting shimmers that Angie's palette will have. So just keep that in mind. But if you're just more into neutrals, then this could be a good alternative for you. I'm gonna go get a battery, and then we're gonna get into my little ghost palette, which I'm telling y'all is the one I'm most excited about. So excited. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so on to the little ghost palette. The one I keep talking about I'm most excited about, but I am. Like, look at this color story. To me, this is just such a me color story. I mean, not necessarily the bottom row, but like all this, we know all this is me right here. So we're gonna start off with comparing it to, again, the Hella palette, since that's her original palette. So we'll hold them side by side. I don't know if I'd necessarily pair this one with this one. If you want more greens to go with the blues and purples in here, then I guess you could. And then this more neutral set toward the bottom could be toward this very bottom row right there with the coral. So I guess you could still pair both of them together. Just different parts with different parts of the palette. That's what they look like side by side. The first one that I thought of from Oden's Eye originally when I saw this palette was, of course, the Swan 2 palette. I feel like it would pair nicely with this palette, and I feel like it actually looks pretty similar to this palette when you look at them closely. Minus the corals, I feel like they give a similar vibe. The pop of yellow, I feel like it's what's throwing everybody off, but I feel like these look quite similar in tone in my personal opinion. She just did more corals and they did more like orange vibes. So I feel like, you know, if I had the 5 brands to dupe themselves situation, that I could definitely include this palette alongside that one and like cover up the yellow, and then you'd see what I'm talking about. Like with this, out this yellow, didn't this look really similar to the palette I just showed you? Because I personally feel like it does, but maybe it's just me. Anyway, next I have, of course, my hummingbird. Like I said, we're going to show the hummingbird twice, because again, I feel like the hummingbird would pair nicely with both of these, because see, she has a lot of those like similar tones they have, and I feel like her fun bright reds and oranges would go nicely with that coral row at the bottom, which is why I wanted to include it. Plus the shade Fancy is amazing and would go nice with a lot of these tones, and her blue shimmers would look nice. And then if you want to do like the yellow all over the lid and then pop the green in the inner corner, so all these tones go together nicely. And you know, any excuse to pull out Tina's palette sounds like a good time to me. Okay? Okay. The next one I have to talk about is the, what is this one called? This is Mother's Divine Drone palette. Jeez, why is it so hard to say that? I don't know. But I feel like the shimmers in here would go nicely with this. And I feel like the shimmers in here actually match pretty nicely with this, because you got to think, you got your purple row, you got the purple, you got the pink one, you can do that with the corals, you got the blues, and you got a couple of deeper tones. Now, the deeper tone ones I don't feel like would necessarily go with these, unless you're going to, again, use the yellow over the lid, and then like maybe put one of these on your brow bone and then one of these in the inner corner, then it would go with that. So I feel like the shimmers in here would actually go nice with all the mattes she chose in here, and it could pair nicely together. So that's why I wanted to show that one. Next we have the Planet Spirit palette. I feel like this palette would pair pretty nicely with Angie's palette, just because, again, because she did warmer tones and cooler tones. The green, the shades, and the purplish pink shades you could put with the blues and purples in here. And then I feel like the more pinkier and orange shades you could put with that corally row at the bottom. So that's what I was thinking with pairing both of these together. And I will definitely be pairing both of them together, just like I pair Tina and Betty Beam's palettes together, because I love both of them. Next I have the Nocturnal palette from Laminatrix. I feel like this would go really nicely with this as well, because it has a lot of those like muted, murkier versions of the colors in this palette. And then you got a little neutral section here, and then you can use the coral at the bottom to add a pop of color to the neutrals at the top, so you can have a yellowy, corally vibe to it and add that yellow tone with it, and that would be a great look. So that's why I feel like these would go together nicely. And I plan on using them together, so just FYI, I'm gonna do it together even if you don't. Next I have my Flirty Talk palette. Now remember, I did recreate my Flirty Talk palette, and then you'll see why I think my Flirty Talk goes good with this palette. Because if yours looks normal, you might not see it the way I'm seeing it, but this is what my Flirty Talk looks like. I just took the fun shades out of the BTS palette and out of the what is it? It's a Small World After All. So like I think these 2 shades came from It's a Small World After All. Sorry, these 3 shades. This one, and this one came from It's a Small World After All. And I think all the bluish, pinkish, I think all the bluish tones came from the, was that the BTS 21 palette that came out with ColourPop. So that's why I feel like these would go nicely together, because a lot of the pink tones I'm gonna just put with the corals, and then like a lot of those blues and those weird toned blues I would put with the blue and purple section. So I'm interested to see what I can create combining those 2 sets together, and I cannot wait to do so. Next I have my Lizzie McGuire What Dreams Are Made Of. I feel like this would pair nicely because, again, these greens are going to go nice with that shade. And then the coral shades in this palette go nice with that one. And then the bluish, pinkish, purplish shades would go nicely with the blue and purple shades. So I definitely think this would be a great addition to add onto this palette. And again, I will be doing so. Next, I have my Sonic Bloom palette. Since this is a more fall-esque palette, I feel like this could be good to add to this one. Again, a lot of these reds and yellows can go with this coral section at the bottom and that pop of yellow right there. So to me, this is just an extension to add onto the bottom of the palette right here. So I plan on just adding and kind of using it like that and not really concerning myself with the top. So I should probably hold it like this. You see what I'm saying? Like when you put it like this, I feel like that'll be a really nice color story to put together with some fun pops at the bottom. So that's why I plan on using this palette with it. Not necessarily with the top, but more with the bottom. I got my Cabana Club from ColourPop. I know I'm just feeling like all the ColourPop palettes, but all of them I feel like go nicely with it. Like I feel like this is like a more neutral person's fun version, a neutral person's version of this little ghost palette. Because as you can see, it has the blues, it has some of the tones that she has, it has some yellows, and it has some neutrals. So I feel like this would be a good alternative for people who, you know, didn't want it. And they were actually giving this palette away, I think, around the holidays last year. So I feel like that's a good alternative for people who want a more neutral version of Angie's palette. Because I heard a lot of people saying it was like clown makeup and it wasn't makeup that they would necessarily like. So I try to keep that in mind when picking my alternatives as well. Next, I have my Moonfall from Proud. I feel like this would go great with Angie's palette. Because again, it has some of those deeper, grungier tones. Like the black and the blue in here is much deeper than the one in Angie's palette. So if you want a deeper blue as opposed to having to use the purple or having to use like this darkish bluish, this darkish reddish purplish type tone right here, you had some alternatives to choose from. Plus it has some greens that this one doesn't have, and this nice pink, because I like to do pink and purple looks. So the pink in here would go great with these, and then these like that shade over there would go nice with the corals at the bottom. So I feel like this one would just pair nicely with it and give some of those deeper mattes that I feel like Angie's palette is lagging to match with the tones that are in here. Not that she didn't do a good job with it, it's just some of those tones to me are still missing personally for the way I like to do my makeup. So I'm just adjusting according to what I want the palette to give me. Next, I have Rogue from Fantasy Cosmetica. This is what she looks like. I feel like she just gives more spookier, grungy opportunities for colors when it comes to, again, the blues and the purples, because that's what this palette's mainly made of. Plus, it has this nice little pink mint shade I feel like would go nicely with this blue shade right here. And I think these will look lovely together. But this is mainly for the blues and the purples. Plus, like these wet looking shimmers might be an extra pop on top of some of the shimmers Angie has. And you know, chef's kiss, chef's kiss. And then of course I had to pull out the original Club Nebula palette because I feel like these look somewhat similar. Like if you covered up the pop of green in here, that is somewhat similar, because you gotta think she has the coral row again, she has the blue purple row again, she has the blue row again, and instead of a pop of green, she's put a pop of yellow in this one. So if you have this one, it might be similar to you. It's just not more, to me, this is more purple and blue leaning than originally in this, where she just gave you kind of a row of each thing. You get like extra rows of blues and purples. And this one is definitely a classic, and I still love it. But I'd love to know, like, what is going on over there at Kaleidos for y'all. I don't know what they're doing, but it's not, I don't know, it's not hidden right. It's hidden different, and not in a good way. Next, I have the Witching Hour palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. I feel like these would pair nicely because it has tones that this one doesn't have. So I told you I like to do a lot of pink or purple looks, so I picked this one in particular because it has blues. It has pinks and purples. Then you can put the greens with the blues, and then you put the oranges with the corals, and every section will have a nice little pop of difference. Or you can do a blue, green, purple look because this one has the greens in it, and you have blues and purples in here, and then you can do an orange and pink and corally type look with the remaining shades. So I feel like those will pair nicely. I'm interested to see what I can come up with all these things. I know it's going to be like quite a few, but you know, it's cool. I have the Warrior palette from Juvia's Place. This is Warrior 3. Again, I feel like this is a good alternative, or like somewhat similar, because it has some warm tone mattes in here, and it has some of those tones. Obviously this is 9 pan, so you get more in here than you do in here, but I feel like this is a good alternative because if you cover up the green, I feel like you're getting a lot of the similar vibes with this, except their yellow is deeper. It's not as bright and as fun as Angie's, but it gives me similar vibes when I cover up the green. So I want to make sure I pointed that out, especially because Juvia's Place is always having a sale. Then I have the Aloha from Clarity. If y'all remember, I did a gorgeous look with this on Instagram that people were really into and really like. So thank you to you all for really feeling that look. But this is what they look like side by side. I feel like they look like they have some similarities. This one has a little bit more color than Angie's does when adding the pinks and the reds to it. But since she made another one with just reds and greens, it makes sense that hers wouldn't have those because she has two different palettes. But I feel like this could be a good like runner-up alternative for you if you like. And this brand has sales pretty often. Like I got this one on sale for I think like 35% off because it was the owner's birthday. So I got it at for like $30-something, I believe. Then I have my Delicious Delights from Cosmic Brushes. I definitely feel like I would love to pair this with it because it has a lot of similar tones that I like, and has a lot of tones that would match up nicely with the tones in Angie's palette to give me a little extra oomph with my looks. That one out. And then this is the last one, I believe. Yeah, y'all, I'm finally done, y'all. I know it took forever. Is the Glam Light Barbie palette, or Glam Light X Barbie palette. This is what it looks like side by side. To me, this just gives a more extended version of this palette because you gotta think you got your neutral tones right there toward the top that you can make a nice neutral smoky look with. You got some blues, you got some purples, and you got some pinks. So instead of the corals that she chose, they just put pinks and they didn't put a pop of yellow. So to me, again, this is a good alternative to this palette. So I'm thinking I might just go ahead and show the ones that I told you I feel like the most alternatives for each one of these palettes in the reel, as opposed to showing all of them. And then I'm gonna just make this a video on its own of just showing y'all all the palette comparisons and having shown you at least one lip product on my lips, because the other two eye looks I do, I'm going to do that. So I think we're gonna end this video here, girl, because otherwise it's gonna be like 45 minutes long. I'm gonna do a separate video with just the eye looks, but this video is gonna go up tomorrow. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'm going to film the two eye looks today, but you will not see them until Sunday, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Comment down below and tell me which palette you liked the best and which alternative that you liked the best, because honey, I gave a whole lot of them. Remember, you all are diamonds. Be blessed, girl. Bye.